Hey guys, so this is a video for calculating Lagrange error and Taylor polynomials. We have calculated error before, but that was with alternating series, and that was when you found the next term. This is going to use a specific formula. Okay, so here's the formula that we're going to use to calculate that error. Let's go ahead and just jump into an example. One thing that would be helpful to know are our Taylor polynomials from last time that I told you to memorize, so sine, cosine, and e to the x, if you want to jot those down or pull up your notes from next time. You have all of the variables and what they stand for right here, so if you need to look back at this at any time. But I'm just going to go ahead and start doing some examples because I think that'll make the most sense. So here's our first example. And in that formula, we need an m. M is going to be the maximum value. So that is actually going to be this in the problem because we're saying that 0.2 is the most, well, actually not even the most, but it has to be less than 0.2. So that's going to be your maximum, that's your m. In this problem, I also can easily find c that's needed in the formula. And your x is going to be the value that you're trying to estimate. So that's f of 3. And what else do we need? We need an n value. And so because it's the fourth degree, that's going to be n. So whenever you see n plus 1, that'll be 5. So setting up this, I'm going to do my m over my n plus 1 factorial times my x value minus my c to the n plus 1. I'm just going to type all of that in the calculator. 0.2 over 120, which is 1 over 600. And if you want to put that in decimal form on the AP test, they do like 4 decimal places. You put 6 repeating. Any of those would be fine. So calculating is pretty easy. You just need to know what the variables stand for and how to find them in your problem. So for this one, what we're going to do, this is going to be a lot like when we calculate our error for alternating series, is we're going to take this value and we're going to subtract our error from it. And we're going to add our error to it to create a boundary for what f of 3's value actually is. So the next two questions are pretty simple because they just want to know if f of 3 could be this or that, or why or why not. So could f of 3 be equal to this? Well, if you actually type these values in the calculator, you can see that this doesn't fit in there. So no, it's not in the interval. And then could it be this? Like I said, if you type those in, you'll see yes, it is in the interval. So if you're going to see this on the AP test, I think it's going to most likely be a free response question. And you would be expected to memorize that formula. Okay, so example 2. So read through the problem and try to figure out what variables we have. If you're looking at the 5th degree, that is your n value. So n plus 1 is 6. And we're going to use this to approximate sine of 1. And what else do we know? We're going to find the maximum error for our approximation, and we want 3 decimal places. Like I said, on the AP test, they do like 4. It's better to do more than not enough, so we're going to do more than that. Okay, so first of all, we know, we're talking about sine, we know the Taylor polynomial for that is x minus x cubed over 3 factorial plus x to the 5th over 5 factorial. if we're doing a fifth degree. So we don't have 5 pieces, but remember those pieces in between, they zeroed out. So we actually do have all 5 degrees here. Then we want to calculate what P of 5, or P sub 5 of 1 is, because we're trying to approximate sine of 1. So if I plug all of those 1's in for the x's and work that out, just using the calculator, we have to think about what our maximum value is going to be. And for sine and for cosine, you're talking about either one of those. If you think about the graph of sine or cosine, the max value is going to be 1. So that's our m in this problem. Once we know what that max value is, we can use that new formula that we were just talking about. So this is where you have your m over your n plus 1 factorial times your x value, which in this case is 1. That's what you're trying to approximate. And it says it's Lagrange, so we know that that is automatically 0 for our center to the 6. If you type all of that in, you get 1 over 720, and you can find the decimal form for that. We are going to use all of that information for part B, because what we're going to do is just take our approximation that we found using our Lagrange polynomial, and we're going to subtract and then add to that, creating a boundary, just like we did before. You could type that in the calculator, get roughly what it is. And then part C is, could sine of 1 actually be 0.9? And if you type this value in and this value in, you'll see that it's actually not in between. All right, we're going to look at example 3, which is not a calculator problem. So if you had something like this on the AP test, you would be expected to not have to round. You could just leave it as a fraction. You can kind of use the calculator on this if you want to get an idea of what that value means. So we're going to write the 4th degree Lagrange polynomial for e to the x. So once again, this is one of those ones that we want to memorize. And e to the x is kind of simple because it just goes right in order. And 4th degree means 4 derivatives. So for this one, that actually does go up to 4. And we want to approximate e to the 1. So I'm going to plug 1 in to all of this. You'll start to get familiar with what some of those factorials are. Like you'll start to know that 3 factorial is 6, 4 factorial is 24, 5 factorial is 120. And if you add that all up, which I know you can do it by hand, so if you want to just copy this down, or if you want to use a calculator, that's fine. Just be aware that if this was a non-calculator problem, you could just leave it as a improper fraction. If you type this in, it's approximately 2.7, which makes a lot of sense because if you remember from pre-calc, e is approximately 2.7. So I'm going to use that error formula, but first I need to know what my m is. Well, my max value is going to be E. My N is 4. X is 1. C is 0. And my N plus 1 is still 5. So you could just leave this as E over 120. Once you've done all of that work, you do your norm polynomial and you find your error. All you're doing is you're adding and subtracting to that. To create error. If you actually do type this in, you should get 2.68 something and 2.7 something, which makes sense because if you type E in, it will be in between that. Okay, try to squeeze in one more example. So this is one of those problems where it actually tells you what each of the derivatives value is. So all we have to do is set up the Taylor polynomial. So I'm going to pause this real quick and let you do that part on your own. So just create the Taylor polynomial. Okay, so I use my Taylor polynomial formula. Instead of writing 2 factorial and 3 factorial, I just went ahead and worked those out. You could actually go ahead and reduce any of those if you want to, or you can leave it. It's up to you. For part B, I'm going to actually plug in 5.2 for x into the polynomial that I just found. So I'm going to pause this again and plug in 5.2. So that's what we were working on last time, plugging that in. I went ahead and simplified like 30 over 2 and 48 over 6. When you type all that in, you have your decimal. And so now what we want to do is create that Lagrange error. So my maximum value in this problem was given to me previously. So it was 75. We're doing a third degree polynomial, so I need to put 4 factorial. The value minus the c, which this was all in the original problem. 2 to the 4th. If you type all of that in, you get your decimal. Okay, one last one to try if you want to try this with a partner or in a small group, and then play it when you're ready to see all the answers. Okay, so for part A, you have your approximation, and then we can figure out if it's increasing based on the first derivative. Part B is down here. You have your approximation values in your Taylor polynomial. And part C, I have my Lagrange error approximated there.